I wanted to go into this beautiful, beautiful opportunity to share with you something that I've been going through and witnessing and taking on and coming to the completion of this about the soul redemption. And when I was facing this, I was coming into the understanding that I was no longer going to live in the wound. Trauma redemption is huge, and it's happening right now on planet Earth. And it's when the soul comes into the realization that it no longer wants to live from fear. It no longer wants to live from all the trauma and everything that the soul has taken on in its life. And it's coming into the state of awareness right now that trauma is now going to be the past. They're not living from it anymore. They're finally coming into the wisdom that they've collected through that trauma. And it's all coming out right now. And many people around the world, many teachers that were in the spiritual industry or the new age industry, or just people in general helping people, they are now coming into the totality of the trauma redemption. And I'm so grateful to talk about this with you here on YouTube because this is where we are. We're here to share the view. We're here to share the real raw view of what's going on within ourselves as the inner economy shifts to a new currency. Now, when we come into the pivoting of this awareness, this is when everything stops. We no longer create from this pain. Our system, the emotional system, everything within us and the entire timeline that we are on now recognizes and now mirroring back all the newness that you have gained in this trauma redemption. You stopped. You stopped playing or directing your scenes based on trauma and emotion and choices based on those fears. And no matter all those experiences that you survived and all those material possessions that you gained from it, it could have been your big houses, your little houses. It could be the no house. It could be all the cars. It could be the new boyfriend, the old exes. It could be from anything. But every single collection of that materiality, that physical form, experience, and collection, that was all for your rise in this timeline, in this lifetime. Without it, my darlings, without all of those human experiences that you've taken on in the underworld, you wouldn't be in this rise of the trauma redemption. Now, mind you, trauma redemption definitely is not all about healing the past because you've already done that if you're in trauma redemption. You're now in that nervous system of it's done reflecting that trauma. You're no longer making choices from it, based from it at all. You're no longer pulling from that wisdom. You're pulling from the moments of who you are right now and the peace and in the center point of view. It doesn't mean that you are in this continuous healing. It means that you're reclaiming the power, my darling. You're reclaiming that power that you left inside that trauma and that healing and that pain. You're like, nope, this is mine. Love you. And when you're going through all of that, it's powerful. So let's dive deep a little bit more into that. What does trauma redemption mean? What does it mean? What do the stages look like, or what are the stages? Well, from my own collection, it's we start running off of the template of the trauma, plain and simple. It's a template that has no longer we choose to use. That's right. And when we come into the stopping of the loops from pulling from that template or pulling from the survival techniques of what you've learned in the trauma, that's the other stage. You stop the loop altogether. I am freaking done. And I realized this when I came into the creation of New Earth Economy, because people were coming in from all aspects of myself. So trauma redemption is when you get that final grand finale view of everybody coming in. I had people showing up drunk. I had people taking advantage of the network and taking everybody's information and then contacting them on the side for their MLMs and to get them to buy product outside of themselves, not respecting why they're even in the New Earth economy to begin with. There were people that couldn't even handle the truth, and there were people that were like, you don't feel safe, you feel mean, you feel judgmental, but nobody's understanding that they're in the trauma template. They're in the loops of the trauma. And when you're stepping into that, I am no longer teacher of this world because I was guided to stop teaching in that world, and I'm here to come in and to share the redemption of it all, of everything that I chose to be and do in the trauma that I received. Because once you take on trauma and once you discover the healing of the trauma and the laws of process and the laws of cause and effect and everything in the stepping stone process of trauma that you collected, you complete the 7 stages of the human mastery. And then you come out and say, I can help you. Let me help you. I don't ever want anybody to feel that way, the rescuer. There's a lot of teachers out there that are rising and seeing the redemption of trauma. And it's so profound and so powerful and so beautiful. But there's another stage, the emotional body, my darling. The emotional body stops reenacting everything to give you the additional human experience. That reenactment over and over and over. I did that for years in the building of North Economy because I could not shake it. I could not figure out why am I receiving all of these aspects of myself that I no longer am as I move and cross the bridge into the new earth energies of the new earth economy, understanding and understanding and embodiment of I am newness. Well, in going through the soul redemption, you are going to get everything for its final grand withdrawal. Not a withdrawal as in uh, not facing it. I'm talking about a withdraw as in a release and a surrender and saying, thank you, it no longer serves me. I'm putting the template down. And I no longer want to reenact those patterns because going into the final stages of the soul and all the steps that we take to move forward, we're literally taking the pen back and the book of life back, and we're like, I'm going to change this whole new chapter. I'm going to flip the page and say that chapter is done, and I'm going to become the new authorship of this newness of my life. And that whole process is painful. Let me tell you, I've wanted to give up several times on the creation of New Earth Economy because of this trauma redemption grand finale of my existence of my old world. Does that make sense? So all of these are the overall trauma redemption and what it really means in the stages that we go through. And it's really coming into that halt, that yield before you stop and say, there's definitely something better and I'm done with this shit. Because everything is you. Everything. And when you come into the new earth energies, you finally identify the totality of the existence of all creation that is within you as the universe. This is so beautiful, my darling. So freaking beautiful. And I'm so grateful to share with you that when my identity stage final grand finale died and I was in this dream having my funeral and I saw my picture that I've used in my photo shoot for my first launch of my book of the Bear Claw Attack, Mastering the Human Experience, because I saw the mirror. And when I went through the funeral where I was running through the Social Security office saying, I'm not dead, I'm not dead. Does anybody see me? I am not dead, I'm still existing. My name is Jennie O'Boyle and I'm still alive. And nobody looked at me and everybody walked through me as I was just a spirit on a timeline. And it was me sitting in this bus photo shoot and it said Jennie O'Boyle, human experience, mother, daughter, sister. It was a whole thing, and I was crying and I was wiping it all off because Jennie O'Boyle and the identity that created the Jennie O'Boyle is gone, completely gone. She died. It felt so real. I probably did die in a timeline because that timeline no longer is the vibration in which I hold today. And if you are seeing this and you are learning about the trauma redemption with me, I'm so grateful and welcome to the New Earth View. Because this is where it's real, raw, human take on and mastery and experience. Either it be through the death of a husband, a death of a loved one, a fist fight, and how it made me react and all that rage and the anger. It's the deep, raw truth of addiction and sexual assaulting, and it's everything under the human mastery, under the umbrella of the underlight of human mastery. We're done. We're done. And we also want to let you know here at the New Earth View was created so you, my darling that is watching, can truly receive the self and know that there's still more of you because we're still standing. The identity died, the spiritual ego, the human ego, all of it died. And there's so much beauty here, especially when you speak from your heart and your truth. And when I became the big director of my own scene and my own life experiences, I literally said, halt, stop. I don't want this anymore for me. Whatever this is and whoever I am that I am, in which this is presenting at any given moment, I don't want to be this shape and this form of this energy anymore that I'm pulling from a template that no longer serves me. And I used to be the identity of the backstage. And now I'm coming up in front center of the stage of my existence in life at the New Earth View, alongside powerful women who are in the backstages too. And I will tell you right now, I will never, 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 because I am the director of my scene and I can say never. I will never negotiate my new self to the people and the aspects of my old self. Never, never. I will no longer negotiate with the echoes of my past because it's an echo and it's just echoing back after it hits the wall of all existence and then it ripples back my way. I'm a cancel that wave, please. Thank you very much. I am a freaking amazing woman on planet Earth and I'm an amazing mom because I did my best and I'm an amazing friend and I'm an amazing teacher because I know how to not take things personal. And I know how to be real and raw and forward and true to who I am and share with you with complete clarity with deep roots that back 100% up of what I am sharing with you. And I'm so grateful that you are here to learn the soul's redemption process of trauma. It's so beautiful. When looking over the the stages that I just mentioned and looking into the infrastructure of it. Spirit calls it the infirmity. It's the infrastructure and remedy of the soul. And when I come into this, I went into starting with awareness. Do you know when if you are in observation and you're not in the chaos and the tornado and you stand in the center point of the tornado, you see the whole tornado at a 360 advantage point. You have full awareness, which is the first infrastructure, the first structure of trauma redemption. It's awareness. You have to be fully aware, my darling, of what is around you because you are a master on planet Earth, mastering your human experience. When you walk into a scene, into an overall scene, it's just the space that you're in because that's all that exists. You have your creators. You have your co-creators, the co-characters, the co-directors of the scene, and you all come into an agreement and play the scene. You must know the characters at play. Are they your past self, present self, or could they be the future self that you desired? But you got to kind of figure that out by feeling it. But then you need to know your exits in case it doesn't work out, right? You need to not be attached to anything to be in that ultimate release and say, thank you, but no thank you, I'm going to continue. That's the awareness piece of trauma redemption. And it's simple because you see the truth. It's in front of you. It's what you see and perceive. But when you're not in the trauma redemption, you are perceiving what is based on the template of your trauma. There's only the two options. And so New Earth energy is over here going through the trauma redemption, which is almost all humanities are going through the trauma redemptions of their timeline and soul stage cycles, which that's a whole nother video. Or you can come take the course on the inside of New Earth Economy. It's up to you. It's all fascinating. But when you come into the awareness, that is when you're going to break down into the transformation, the aha moments, the second foundation, the second infrastructure of trauma redemption. After awareness, you have transformation. You transform because you get the aha moment. And once you see everything that you are, you finally get fed up. That's like being spanked all day long. You finally fight back or you die, right? So this is what it's like. You take on so much and the cycles and it kind of hits you up against the wall several times. You're going to be like, no, screw this. You're going to find out who's spinning you around and you're going to stop it, especially if it's you. If it's somebody else, that means you're making a choice and agreement, probably based on your trauma template. That is what makes this so profound because once you come into the awareness and then you have the transformation, after that transformation takes place, your identity is going to break because you have to choose. It's I am choice, choices within me, because I'm in my breath and my balance and my center point, because it's part of the process. It's paradoxical. You have all laws running within you simultaneously all day long in every single existence of experience, of choice, of rejection, receiving, giving, all of it. So when your identity dies, gotta let it go. You no longer use the template. You no longer allow that template to be the narrator of your now. Are you following this infrastructure of what most of the teachers are going through right now as they put down the eraser and the chalk and walk out the classroom? Because they're coming into the trauma redemption of changing the whole template. 100%. And that is when we go through that awareness and the transformation. And then we go into the identity break, because the identity break is the most profound new stage of when now the calcification of the old you has been broken open, shattered, identity gone, coming into the liquid form of the totality of all existence for you to choose to become the narrator, the writer of the book of life in the next chapters of your book of life in that crystallized form of I am exactly who I want to be and who I want to exude as the original soul on planet Earth. I wiped the table clean. You are going to wipe the table clean. 100%. And when you go into the final wiping and the final stages of, nope, that doesn't work for me. Nope, that doesn't work for me. I love you. I release you with love. Thank you. Goodbye. And then you just start killing off that identity that attracts all these aspects of yourself. Then you go into the soul's expression, the final infrastructure stage of expression. Because as you express your heart and the journey and the pain and the sadness and the aha moments and the revelations that you've taken on from the entire identity creation of your life since you were born. It's so freeing, it's so sovereign. I now can make a choice in my sovereign self. And that's what I want for you. I want to see you and witness you in your sovereign choice. Because even though it's a painful process and journey in that stepping stone, sometimes you have to go down that river very, very fast because you stepped on a really small stone because spirit really needs to teach you balance in chaos. And when you're leaping and it's a little far ahead from the stone that's kind of bigger that you've been standing on, and then you got to make that leap, but there's this raging river. And man, they got some 7-footers, man. It's a 0.7. on the raging rapids. You're going to go down sometimes, and then you got to find your way out of that raging river, and then you got to walk back. And then Spirit makes you go back to the center point of sea again, and then you got to get back on all over again. And then you're going to keep doing the cycle until you land on the little stone, mastering balance. It doesn't mean you have to stay there forever, my darling. You just have to land for a moment. And then you got a big stone in front of you so you can rest. Welcome to trauma redemption. Every human being is going to get there. Every human being is going to experience. But letting go of the template is the hardest part. And here at New Earth Economy, we assist you with that because we and the trauma redemption are here to help you because we have the keys, all designed by spirit and birthed by women who have gone through it, who are deep rooted in the human mastery and in the human experiences of what we share. There is one thing that I want to express to you, and it is the processing of it all. You have to process it all. You have to go through the human experiences of betrayal and sabotage and all of these things. And recently, I'd say 5 months ago, when I was coming out in my second launch, I think it was the second launch, and facing the first failure of the launch because I'm coming into this newness energy and observing and processing my whole life at the same time while I'm building this with spirit, the new earth economy. I was hit hard with spiritual women who were just completely in their trauma. And they came in and deemed me as a scam and didn't even know me. They put it all over social media. They put it on Google. So if anybody ever looked at my creation, because I have a lot of gems to help humanity, they would try to destroy my character because they couldn't destroy me. And this taking on the process of the repeating, because this happened to me a long, long, long time ago in my other creations that were all part of the making of why I have never looked at myself as successful as part of my template of trauma taking on. Not being good enough, not being supported, not being loved or seen for who I am. And when I'm going through the process, as I finalize this entire soul's redemption human experience, I had to feel that all over again. And that was my final breakthrough. And I'm so grateful for those stages of New Earth Economy and the beginning creation of me, of my soul's purpose. And it's in the creations of those beside me that are assisting in this great design. And I wanted to share that the beauty of the process, even though we can never go around it, go under it, go over it, avoid it, you have to go through the grand finale, which is going down the raging river several times to come back to repeat all over, cycle, cycle, cycle. It's because I'm coming into the full process and elimination of the old template. You have to feel all the old narratives all over again. You do. You have to feel it. All the narratives and all those characters, even though they come into another body, another face, it's still the same lesson. You have to face it one last time to make sure you're solidified in that crystalline containment for your new experiences. But when you come into all the feelings of your intuition, after you're going through all of that, you have to now come into the trust of your intuition. And that right there, you have to be A game because it's testing your abilities to be intuitively so you can be sovereign in the creations of your life because now you're in the life of light, everything shining upon it. And the only way through it is to feel, intuitively feel your choice as a sovereign soul. And when you come into that, you're going to face questioning yourself because The energy of the old can be narcissist, right? I don't care for these titles, but they can be a soul that is trickster and tell you you're not seeing that right and gaslight you. You're crazy for feeling that. I never did that. That's not my intention. But you have to trust you in this redemption stage of trauma, redemption. You have to wholeheartedly. It's your test, the grand finale. And when you come into all of those emotional debts that you've taken on, and you face these emotional debts, the ancestral debt, the financial debt, the passed down debts from your parents, which is part of the ancestral, but you have your body debt of everything you've done to your body. Then you have that circle of completion debt of everything you've done unto another is done unto you. You have to clean all that up too. You have to face it until it clears and flows through you. You have your spiritual debt, your blueprints, your contracts. There's a lot of debt that you have to clear up, and it's all emotional. You have to collect the emotion to collect the data. And the data is what becomes your new knowledge, a new belief system that becomes the teacher. But within those two stages, you are stepping into the circle of completion, which is the soul's redemption, to become the I am teacher. There is teacher within me. So when we go into what it all feels like, going through all these emotions and all of these characters that we have to take on and all these narratives and all those fears that are screaming so freaking loud in our mind. So we don't say yes and we don't choose because it's based off of fear. We are feeling it all and we're shedding the emotions and we're going through collecting them to shed them. And then we're going into the remembering process of, oh, I'm remembering my original frequency because this feels amazing. And so when we go through all of that and we coming to our original frequency and we take it on and we remember who we are no longer available for the old template. And you're going to go through all of these emotions of all of these processes and what it feels like. And then you have to go into that stance of the boundary and say, no more. And then you have to speak your truth to them, no matter what they do to you. You have to be like, go ahead. That is me fighting me so I can make sure I stay in my crystalline. So I'm grateful for all those that showed up drunk to our gatherings, that didn't show up at all because they're in judgment or couldn't take a guidance that is firm and straight. Because if the soul didn't shift, I could not be in that energy because I'm in soul redemption stage. There were people that took advantage of our members. There were people that couldn't even uh, just process the $9 because they were in the poverty and the scarcity, and they're in that energy of in the trauma template. There was nothing I could do but let it all come in and let it all hit me. So I can just sit there and say, okay, I'm ready. I want to be the new narrator of my new life with new beautiful people and friends and ultimate abundance creations because we all get together and we're powerful together. So now I'm in my sovereignty expression, which is a whole new definition of sovereignty. And I'm explaining to you what sovereignty is. It has nothing to do with the government. That's the illusion because I'm not in that. I'm in the creation of the I am architectural design of the all creation, greater creation, the I am human experience, a particle of God, a spark of the greater creation, God. Sovereignty. Let's go into why is this happening to me? Why is my life in upheaval? Why is my life happening? Why is nothing working for me? Why? Well, why? It's because you have outgrown your trauma blueprint. That's why. You've outgrown it. Congratulations. You've outgrown your trauma blueprint. The whole entire mapping that you used to make all your choices, the blueprint and mapping that you used all your human experiences on. That's what you did. And you've outgrown it. That's something to celebrate, wouldn't you say? Don't you feel that you've outgrown that energy? How about the physical breakdowns? How about the letdowns from people? How about the abandonments of humanity and how they treated you? How about all those betrayals and the deceit actions people had towards you? Didn't even love you, say, I love you, care about you. Nothing. You've outgrown that, right? Does that make sense why you would outgrow that? I mean, most of humanity in the underworld is accepting this as normal behavior. It's because the timeline is nurturing the behavior where they don't know the difference of how they're treating themselves and others. Huge lesson. They think it's normal. Then they reject the newness because, oh, I don't know what that is. I'm going to reject it because I'm here trying to find comfort in this normal so I can survive. You've outgrown that, right? Of course you have. How about all the times you started over? Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. That's what Dr. Soigné says. Rinse, repeat over and over and over. Absolutely. Or how about all the recoveries that you had to go through? How about all that faith that you've held so tightly? All that faith that you held, the initiation of everything, the miracles, the little breadcrumbs, the big breadcrumbs. It's just all of it. Just waiting, waiting. Please, Father, please rescue me. Please help me find my exit. That is why. Trauma redemption is your exit, my darling, and it's the grand finale of you. So it's time to celebrate and receive it as it flows through. Because that is the only way you're going to be in this newness as the narrator and director of your book of life in every scene that you create. And you have to be 100% solidified in the crystalline containment because you were liquid going through soul redemption. When we look at the system that we were born in, you have reached the threshold where your old identity in that old calcification container that you once crystallized to that's now calcified, it can no longer hold the identity. It cannot carry you. You have to break it. It has to break you. Meaning you're going to go down a raging river, fall off the cliff, go down, swim out, come back, run up the hill, go back to do it again. And you're going to do it over and over and over. It's the law of process. And you have to step on these stones over and over until you land at its perfect balance. And now you're ready because now I got it. I am balance and balance is within me. So now I can hold this form because no matter what comes at me, I'm crystal clear, solid. Can't break me because life will always flow through you as consciousness would. You can't avoid it, but you can be that perfect center point of I am new earth currency and it flows all around me and through me. And that's where we're going. And then you're going to be like, I'm ready to create. Let's go. And that's been me this whole time in this tradition. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's create. Are you ready to create? Are you ready to create? You ready to create the ultimate wealth together? Let's accumulate. Let's multiply. Let's quantify these energies for the betterment of us. It is our new earth creation. Just know, just know that when you are being stripped down to the bare nothing, so you can have your original design, you're going to embrace it, aren't you? You're going to allow it to happen, aren't you? Because that breakdown to break through, that calcification, just that liquefying, you're going to feel freaking amazing. But it's the crystallization that when it gets tested, all of that comes. Because you have to harness yourself authentically in the new energy of the new earth that you are now seeing and creating through your lens and with your hands and with your words. What broke me no longer owns me. Feels good saying that. When we get stripped down of everything, when we get stripped down of everything. We no longer can hold the embodiment of that old as we step into the new. The original signal cannot hold anything old. And when you get to that origin point of you, and when you get to the frequency of you, and when you come into that full embodiment of you, the new you, that is when everything collapses and everything recalibrates and everything reforms into the newness. Always speak from your authenticity. If you don't have the human experience, don't open your mouth. Because if you do, you're going to get every experience to align you because the universe says, wishes granted. This is who she wants to be. So let's give her the energies and the frequencies to create this wisdom in her. So when she speaks, it aligns. Build from embodiment, 100%, not from urgency of trauma template. Build from embodiment. Everything that you have become in the completion of you through all the human experiences, build from that. I love you.